Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, people. Hello and welcome to Footy Judge. More people listen. There's no intro, no countdown, nothing. We're just here to talk about Manchester City versus Arsenal. We are here to talk about what is happening in the Premier League. What does that mean for the Premier League? Big up everybody that joined us from the Football Terrace. Hit that like button, people, if you joined us. Let us know in the comments what you think. We're here with a fantastic panel, a fantastic crew for you to talk about. Is it actually a red cartel? Because now a lot of emails are coming through. Everyone is saying the story from their side. Arsenal or like the Red Cartel or whatever you want to call them, Liverpool and Arsenal and Man United, they're saying, okay, Man United are absolutely in disarray. That's Ten Hag, Jim Ratcliffe and all the side. But Chelsea fans are with the Premier League, with the Man City. For some reason they are. We don't know why. Even though they don't understand. I think some of the Chelsea fans don't understand the situation as it is. Newcastle, of course, they are with Manchester City. It's a war between the Premier League, and it's damning to the Premier League image. And everyone is laughing at the Premier League clubs. Everyone is laughing at the Premier League. Basically, that is what's happening. But we have to talk about it. But also, Pep Guardiola is in Abu Dhabi to renew for 2 years. What does that mean for the Premier League? Because everyone is like, Pep is going to leave and we're going to win. Does that mean you're not winning now? Does that mean you're going to have to wait another 2 years? Because a lot of people are saying that. We'll also speak about Liverpool and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Looks like he's going to Real Madrid. But hit the like button. There's about 400 people here, so hit the like button if you just joined us. If you joined us from Football Terrace, make sure to subscribe. I'm less than 30, 40 subscribers away from 26,000. Hit that like button. Let's get to 300 likes. And if you're watching this in the replay, like the video and let me know what you think in the comments. I'm here, of course, with Charlie from Blue Brothers, Martin, of course, representing Arsenal, Jamie Phillips, Liverpool, Tony's here, who's commenting in the chat as a blue tone, of course, and Martin from Man City, 𝐔𝐬𝐞 𝐂𝐨𝐿. How is everyone doing?
Yeah, good.
All good.
All good. All good.
Thank you.
Man City fans happy. Since we only have, let's start this by actually talking to Charlie. Chelsea, talk to us. How did you understand the situation, Charlie? And why do you back Man City, though? Why?
I'll be honest, mate. I don't really know that much about the situation. But I guess we're backing because I don't really know why. Maybe because we're not huge fans of the Premier League. Maybe because they blocked our Paramount Plus shirt sponsorship deal, which would have been pretty lucrative for us. They seem to block that for no seemingly good reasons. I guess maybe some ill feeling towards how we were treated during the whole sanctions debacle. But in terms of like associated party transactions, I don't really see how that affects Chelsea too much. But yeah, I guess we're just kind of siding with Man City, Newcastle, etc. As a way of maybe trying to get one over on the Premier League from previous grievances we might have had. I don't really see how it affects us, the ruling sort of really in any way at all.
Yeah, I don't think people actually. I read a lot of comments. Premier League are saying they won. The Man City, they're sending emails to all the 19 clubs in the Premier League saying that you didn't understand. The Premier League are lying. They didn't win anything. We won. Tony, can you explain from your point of view? I know you know things that we don't know. So just let us know what you know, please.
I don't know the in-depth stuff. Look, I'm not going to pretend I've read the whole article or whatever you want to call it. I'm sure Martin probably has. He read the CAS one as well. I've not been through and read it all. So I have seen bits and bobs and, you hear bits and bobs. But just to reverse a little bit, I think Chelsea are probably on our side because they too have spent a lot of money recently and won't want any avenue blocked to, how can we put it, like reclaim that money. So I think they're probably on our side as well for similar-ish reasons to what we are. But the fact is the rules were found to be unlawful, and that's the big thing that people are missing in this. People keep throwing out, rivals are saying, oh, they lost 23 of the 25. Now, the fact is, if you look, the APT rules that City are fighting. City are not trying to banish APT and all this sort of nonsense, crash it all down and burn. They are challenging certain aspects of the rules. And those aspects that City challenged, they have won, the main ones, because they are unlawful. So that is why City are celebrating. I think I saw somewhere that City are parading it around like they've won the Champions League or something, which that's perhaps over the top, but it makes a good headline. But City were very clear in their statement. The Premier League was found to have abused its dominant position was a line that blew everyone's mind, I think. When everyone saw that, they're like, bloody hell, that's strong wording. So look, I'm obviously going to be on City's side. To me, the rules are cartel-led, if you want to call it that. They're clearly there to favour teams. You've got even Gary Neville and Carragher and those people that are in the media who support Liverpool and United and so on, saying the same thing. Actually, I don't know about Carragher is so much, but Neville certainly is, and all couple of other United fans, Scholes and all them lot, are all saying these rules are cartel-led rules. They are there to help the established order and get those teams back to the top. And Newcastle are the ones, I know you'll probably come on to it, so I won't go on too much, but Newcastle are the ones who have been hit. Clearly hit, that they brought a rule in specifically to stop Newcastle, which is just balmy to me.
To be honest with you, the problem is the misinformation. That makes me, every time I think I understand something, I don't. I'm going to give you guys an example. I thought in the beginning that City are fighting because they don't want regulations for the associated party transaction. So basically, and what everyone told us in the media, and I'm just going to be clear here, that if this law is banished, what is going to happen is that City will go and sponsor themselves for 200 million. And Newcastle are going to go and sponsor themselves for 500 million. And that will add to the revenue. So FFP and PSR are basically nonsense because you can just sponsor yourself. That is what everyone in the media told us, by the way. Everyone in the media told us this.
And you all lapped it up.
Yeah,
Right?
It's not City don't.
I don't think everyone in the media framed it like that. Mo's using it. No one said they were going to sponsor themselves for 200
Martin,
million.
can you let us know what you understood then? Go ahead.
I think people want rules that are fair for all clubs, and I think that it's going to be impossible for that to happen if Man City are taking themselves to court over rules that they voted in. Like they voted for the FPC rules in 21.
So see, you've already come out with a false fact there. We didn't vote him. We abstained.
19 of the 20 clubs voted. Man City was one of them. That's what I read in the same article.
Okay, you know more. Carry on.
You guys know everything. Then I'll just shut up. You know what's the point in having a debate?
No, but don't talk about my football
ago,
club when I know for a fact.
The media had painted that Man City were going to pay themselves 200 million, and
that's what your club did.
End of football. People want sponsorship to be fair value. You can't just make up, especially if you own both companies, you can't just make up a value for sponsorship.
£200 million, 0% interest loan from shareholders is fair value.
A loan is different to sponsorship because a loan is actually debt that you have to repay. And you can roll it into equity so that it's not actually something which needs to be taxed. And when people say interest-free loan, at that point, the global interest rate was 0% basically anyway. There was a free money cash machine going on. I don't know if people realize this. It's not like some controversial thing that a 0% loan was done from an owner to the club. Chelsea loaned themselves $1 billion from Roman Abramovich's dodgy oil money, and then the Premier League wiped it out when they got bought out. They didn't even have to repay that money. So I don't know if people want to actually take all the conversations into account here, or we want to just say Premier League bad, Man City win good. Yay, it was illegal to try and have rules on the Premier League.
Sorry.
Hold on. So why do you think the other way around? Why do you think? Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Why do you think Man City bad, Premier League good? You just said that you don't think, and I really want to understand this. You just said that we don't want to say Man City good, Premier League bad. Why do you think it's the other way around? Do you want my opinion as a neutral, right? Let me just explain my opinion as a neutral from outside. Newcastle came in 2021. The Premier League shat their bed. They were afraid of Newcastle pumping money into the club unlimited. They made this law that discriminates between the Gulf people and everyone else, right? That's what I understand. And listen, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not educated enough. But I am the representation of your normal fan on Twitter and on the internet. I'm an educated man. I have I have a degree in science. I can read, I understand math, but I'm not a lawyer. But this is what I understood from the media, right? So now the Premier League shot their bed and made this law. This law is unlawful because it discriminates.
But who also approved Newcastle's ownership? Like they actually said you can own the club. Like the Premier League approved that. They didn't shit the bed. They were like, okay, we're going to let states own clubs now. Like they approved that.
That's not nobody. By the way, Martin, it is not someone's
fault. Sounds like the Premier League.
It is not. Can I just let me just? It
what
is
do you mean
not
somebody's fault. I said the Premier League approved their ownership. They didn't stand in the way of Newcastle.
And then they shot their bed and made the law. Okay,
yes. They tried to like put some framework around what's capable because they know they've got
unlimited. It wrong, Martin. The thing about it. Okay, Martin. I'm telling you what I understood from reading all these things that gets shared on Twitter and the Times. Man City said, we don't mind. That's what I understood today, by the way. That's not back in the days. That's what I understood in the last 24 hours. We don't mind having the fair market value, but you're discriminating against us. We need that to be for everyone, associated or not associated. And also, UEFA have their own laws that Man City cannot breach because UEFA themselves have the laws. And Man City, Newcastle, and everyone could have faced a transfer ban or a banish from competing in Europe. The Premier League made the law wrong, and Man City saying it's unlawful. You blocked the deal with us that we think it was market value because you thought it's not a fair market value, while you allowed other clubs to take loans from their owners without interest, with lower interest, and that's not fair market value.
Yeah.
That's what I understood, Martin. That is what I understood.
That's
Tell me if I'm wrong.
Hang on. One sec. One thing. Dirty oil money was just used. That shouldn't be being used for starters. That I've heard
Abramovich.
Get used to it, Tom. Get used to it.
Do you know how Abramovich got his money?
Yeah, it's not cool.
Did you know the Kroenke's got his money? Martin, you need to be careful.
Yeah, he got it through sport.
Martin, you need to be careful.
Yeah, he doesn't own oil.
No, Martin,
I'm not talking about Man City's oil. This has nothing to do with Middle East. I'm talking about how Abramovich got his money and the way that he became an oligarch and took all the people's oil and spent it on fucking Chelsea.
Yeah, but he's thrown around.
That club.
There's
no discrimination in the Premier League.
Newcastle got
Who
taken
am I discriminating against? Oil people?
Right,
yeah.
Newcastle.
That's
can I just say,
no, Abramovich. Nothing to do with the Middle East.
Right, Newcastle got taken over, right? And within 5 days, one of the red clubs, contacted the Premier League to say we need new rules in place to stop Newcastle. That's what it was called, for Christ's sake, the Newcastle law, which, a bit of a side thing, but it's true. Newcastle got taken over and people say, oh, they shouldn't be allowed to spend. Why not? Why can't they?
They shouldn't be allowed to spend. They shouldn't be allowed to spend. I disagree with you here. I disagree with you. I'm going to tell you why. Because Saudi Arabia, I'm going to actually tell you what I think. If Newcastle are allowed to spend what they want, they will destroy the sport. The reason why, because the amount of money they have is non-comparable to anyone else. What I mean by that is that if there are no regulations, Tony, Newcastle can literally get, Tony, Aramco is owned by the royal family in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And that's their money. I'm Arab. I lived in Saudi Arabia 10 years. I have a lot of Saudi friends, okay? This is their money. It's worth $2 trillion, right? $2 trillion. That is one asset of Saudi. Saudi has other things as well. If they are allowed to spend, right, as much as they want, they can go and do this. They don't generate as much revenue, but they can go and sponsor themselves for $500 million or something like that. And they can say, okay, we think it's fair market value. It is $500 million in the club, sponsored from Saudi, whatever thing, right? And they can go now and bid for all the players, and they can just fuck up the market. That is the reality, Mark.
But
that's not what's going to happen.
Hold on. Okay, so can I respond, Tony, before? Because Martin interjected. You were about to speak, and Martin, hold on. You're assuming, Martin, that is not going to happen. Let me give you an example of how this, okay? You guys don't contemplate from, you guys are all, okay, there's like a British, a Canadian. This is what happens, guys. Qatar put to host the World Cup, their budget, right, was 7 times the budget that South Africa proposed in 2010 because they can, and no one can compete with that budget. Saudi Arabia proposed a budget that is 10 times than anyone else that proposed the budget just because they can. God give them more money. Okay, good for them. You're assuming, Martin, that it's not going to happen. When you said that it's not going to happen, you don't know. Because when the Qataris were allowed to spend, they went to Barcelona and said, here is 220 million for Neymar, when no one else was 220 million. They went for Mbappe from Monaco and said, here is 200 million. If Newcastle are allowed to spend, let me give you an example. If Man City, and I'm going to say Man City on purpose, right? Because the Emiratis' wealth are not compared to the Saudis' wealth. If Man City want to bid for a player, 100 million, because they can, Newcastle can bump £500 million into the club and say, here is 200 billion. Can you compete? Even Man City will not be able to compete because the richest.
Yeah, but Mo, no.
You're assuming.
You said 10 minutes ago. No one, City are not just going to stake. They're not going to sponsor the corner flags for 500 million apiece. I know that's what the belief is. The ATP rules have not gone. This is where the misconception.
That's what people need to understand now. That's what people need to understand now. Okay, let's go.
Won exactly what they went and did. What they went and said, they won.
Nobody is saying. Yes, nobody is saying that they want the rules gone. Man City don't want.
Nobody's saying that.
Newcastle don't want the rules gone. They're challenging the fairness and the legality of them, and City won those points. They're not fair, which is why 2 have been shelved for City and go looking to Newcastle. Newcastle, why? I'm not saying it could be go and spend 2 billion on players. There should be rules, but there are clearly certain clubs that are pushing for rules to stop them spending what they want to spend, and that is wrong. Why can Manchester United finish 8th in the Premier League and go and spend 200 million on shite, and Newcastle can't buy a midfielder in January when they've got a ton of injuries? You tell me when they finished in the top 4.
Tonali was suspended. He wasn't injured.
Now we're talking to it. Now I agree with you here.
Okay, well, missing them. Yeah, so, but that's what I'm trying to say is why can those clubs, so Arsenal won't, but if they finish 6th next year, they'll go and spend another 200 mil. No one bats an eyelid. If Aston Villa finish 2nd and they go and spend on 200 mil, everyone goes, oh, bloody hell, what's happening here? Or City spend 200 mil for winning the league for the millionth time. Everyone shits a bed and goes, oh, this isn't allowed. But bloody Liverpool, Arsenal, United, those teams do it, and they finish in mid-table. No one's bothered. I can tell you
what about the 12 years where we
owners
spent $20 million? Like, we've had periods of paying for a stadium for over a decade that I remember as a fan very clearly, where we spent no money on transfer because we were like, okay, we're living within our means. We're a club that's trying to self-sufficient. We're not trying to be
so much now though, because there's shareholder loans.
What's that?
Shareholder loans, so they're not so much.
Okay, so the shareholders is the owners. The owners.
By the way, we're not
200 million to pay off the remainder of the stadium. Okay,
we
still had no money owing on the stadium.
Martin, the part we're saying is it has been proven in the case that we're not included in the PSR.
Okay, that's fine. That's a completely separate thing to what the APT you guys are talking about.
What you're saying is what we're doing is okay. What you're doing is wrong.
No, I'm not saying. Look, if you want to put PSR on all the loans that happen from ownership to their own clubs, that's fine. That's going to affect every club, even the small ones. It's not something that I want anyone to get away with. I'm just saying it doesn't have anything to do with making up fake sponsors who are giving you money. It's not something you have to pay back. It's giving you money.
Sponsors up?
What's that?
Who's made a fake sponsor up?
That's what they were talking about.
No,
they want to know that you're getting the right value for sponsorship.
You don't understand. You're not getting it.
Why you don't understand what I'm saying? I'm saying a loan is different to sponsorship. And you're going on this, who did fake sponsors, blah, blah, blah. I'm saying...
Let me ask you a question. Why do you think City took the Premier League to court? What's your reasoning? What do you think it happened for?
What's that?
Why do you think City did this to the Premier League? Why do you think we went and challenged them?
Bunch of reasons. Nothing better to do. 115 charges case. Like fighting the Premier League seems to be something you guys are really celebrating these days.
But hang on, don't you think though? Because
it's nothing to do with the legality of a rule.
Yeah, because they proved it.
What I understand, and my limited understanding, is that they were challenging who should be the one which who gives the tick and says that this sponsor is fair market value. And the clubs want to be able to do that on their own, and the Premier League want to be able to control it from a third party.
That was a very small part from Nielsman's sport. And the reason Nielsman got brought in, which we talked about before, is because no other club, and by the way, this is for every Premier League club, no Premier League club has access to their database. So what City was saying is, how can they judge what is rightfully market value when we don't even know what they're classing as market value?
Because someone has to estimate it. Like otherwise, if no one knows what market value is, then anyone can make up whatever they want.
Martin, it's like playing a game and you don't know the rules of the game.
Yeah, but that's what I want everyone to know, the rules. Let's sort out the rules rather than taking everyone to court over attempting to get the rules right. Like you can say that it was against UK law, but it's basically you're trying to set fair rules for a competition. That's how I understand it.
Yes, that is correct. City are trying to get
the legality. Yes. It is a legality basis. That is not UK business law. Done. That's
the way,
and that's proven. Yeah.
And I get Jamie and Charlie's point.
The way I look at this is that I'm going to lose friends here, but I agree. I agree with it.
You don't even have any friends here.
I shut it, you.
We know you agree with it. We've already talked.
I agree. I agree with what the City guys are saying, and I think the most corrupt entity in English football is actually the Premier League itself. That's the most.
Isn't that all the clubs?
But that is, and this is what I'm going to say. I believe every club is dodgy in the Premier League, but there's smart ways of getting around it, and there's not so smart ways of getting around it. City are just extremely smart and clever. You know, in my opinion, they're very smart and clever. Look, Liverpool went against this. The reason Liverpool went against this is because FSG don't want to spend money, right? They want the Premier League to be self-sustained. That's what FSG want, from my point of view. Right? I can only talk about my club here. They want the whole league to be self-sustained. They don't want people spending money. So when it's Newcastle, as soon as Newcastle got agreed to be the Saudis can take over their club and own their football club, Liverpool, one of the clubs that went straight in and tried to stop it happening. The reason they tried to stop it happening is because our club don't want to spend money. We have got shitload of sponsors. Our revenue is sky high, right? We should be able to spend City money. We're a massive football club. Top 5 in world football. Most watched football club in the world. We can spend City money, but we choose not to. Liverpool could be the Real Madrid of English football if they chose to. But our owners choose not to do anything. And instead of their owners choosing not to do anything, they go against everyone else, try and get the other cartel on their side, which are mostly American owners, go against the Premier League, and that's what's happening there. So from my point of view, I can't go and blame City for doing what they're doing. I'm looking at my own club and going, why are you being a bitch? You know, spend the money. We're a huge football club. Because most of my fans, last year when David Ornstein said FSG wanted to sell the football club, they all started putting Qatari flags next to their names, yeah? Right? Because they wanted that. And the reason is because Liverpool fans want to be Qatari owned so they can go and dream about buying Mbappe and buying these players and that player and that player.
Yeah.
So I can't sit here and be a massive hypocrite. I just can't, right?
Oh, no,
I
sorry.
just can't.
You are spot on. And United were the same before this Radcliffe chap come in. Oh, God, they're getting taken over by someone from Saudi. And Arsenal bloody well want it. They all want, I'm sorry, this sounds arrogant, but they all want what City have got. The infrastructure, the funds, the resources, the players, they all want a piece of it. And Arsenal fans and all them will all turn around and go, oh, no, we don't. Yeah, of course you bloody do. You want a piece of this. If Arsenal's owner disappears tomorrow, they'll be doing the exact same with the flags. They all want it. And that's my view on that.
Not me personally, but
Chelsea wanted it as well.
You know what?
Hold on, everyone would want an Arab.
Yeah, of course they do. Like
when
we
everything to win the league, bro. The American owners, I think, Martin, I'm American, you are Canadian, and this is going to be
I'm
so
not Canadian.
political. You're Australian Canadian. You're Australian Canadian. How long have you lived in Canada for?
On and off 10 years, but I'm actually Australian.
10 years. Canada is engraved in you, bro. It's your kids.
No. It's in my time zones, but I refuse to.
But my point about this is that I've been always maintaining the same thing. Capitalism and American owners, all they care about is the stock price. And it's not only about the money they make, it's about the positions, the board positions. I worked for corporate for 14 years. I know that everyone cares about one thing, their position at the place. American owners, the people that own the clubs, there is an echo coming from somebody, I don't know from who. The American owners don't care about the club as much as they care about their position in the board, the stocks, the external audit, the internal audit. That's all they care about. And it shows Liverpool fans know this. You know this, Arsenal fans. Your owners, all they care about at the end is the value of the club in case they want to sell it, because they treat the club as an asset. You don't treat it as a place where they want to win. That is what is going on. I worked for corporate, and I know what I'm talking about.
So why do you think they don't want to win?
I'm gonna
I've heard this argument a million times, and I think it's really bad. It's really bad.
I'm gonna give you an example. If winning comes ahead of revenue, right, they will choose revenue. What I mean by that, if sometimes you will have to lose some money, right, for them to bring the best players to play high wages for them to win, they won't do it. They won't do it. Why? Because it doesn't balance the books.
In a scenario like the Premier League, you've seen Manchester United winning, and they won for like so many years, and they turned that into constant revenue.
Yeah, but that doesn't happen all the time. What I mean by this,
that can happen in a system that's self-sustaining. I just don't think that people should wait. I don't want a Qatari owner. I don't want to work for any owner I don't care where they're from. I don't want anyone to come in with $1 trillion and just go, and I'm just going to completely delete the previous part of this club, and we're going to buy everyone we want. We're going to buy everyone in the world, and we're going to be the best team. Because A, it's not sustainable. Not everyone can do that. You create a market situation where players are worth $1 trillion each. And then B, I like organic growth. Like, I think people want different types of competition, because I don't want to spend $100 million every year on players. I don't think that that's necessary. That's the bare minimum in the Premier League.
What do you want?
I like clubs to develop their own players. I like watching our youth players play. I don't get excited about $150 million on Mbappe or something.
The Premier League's too big.
Completely different to other people.
You get excited about 120 on Declan Rice.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, in the last few years, City have brought through some of the best. In the last, I don't like this. This makes me sound like a City fan. I'm not, honestly not. I can't stand City, but in the last few years, City have arguably brought some of the best academy players through on their academy team. So, you know, I see it as that. I believe the Premier League. You know, we're talking about, like, you can't have all this money and just spend it. I think the Premier League, with their market value, has ruined football full stop. And that's why the market is so huge right now. That's why transfers are over the top and wages are over the top, because of the
before we go on, can I ask, guys, there's about 700 people here. We have about 100 likes, just 100. That is Edwards percentage and Adama Traore conversion rate against Manchester City. We need the likes to go up. Don't be Adama Traore, bro. Just be Kai Havertz.
Mo,
just let me. I need the like, because guys, we really need 400 likes on this show now. Hit that like button underneath your live chat. I'm gonna do the super chat soon. Get your opinions in, and we're gonna respond to every one of them. I see all of them. I appreciate all the support, but let's get the likes up, guys, to 300 likes minimum. Now, in the next 5 minutes, let's get the likes to 300, because it will help the channel. It will push the show to new people. Like the video now. Go ahead, Martin. Sorry, go ahead.
Finish off? Or
I'm done. Martin is frozen. Martin is frozen. It's frozen.
I'll take his minutes. All I want to say is that if you don't have the jeopardy of getting things wrong, then football loses half of its entertainment. Because if you can just keep buying and buying and buying, there's no mistake signings. You just keep throwing people in like a rubbish pile. There's no skill to building a club that way. There's no chance of failure. You'll just spend until you succeed.
But no one's really doing that per se. Certainly not in the Premier League because of the rule. And no one's saying that the rules should go. I think this thing about spend 2 billion. I don't think anybody is on board that I know of. Maybe Newcastle fans, but no one's really on board with that. But the thing is, you know, Arsenal spend 150, 200 million every summer now to build their team. United spend 200 million to somehow get worse every year. These certain teams are spending, and City are spending lots of money. So this thing of, I like organic and all this and all the youth and all this sort of stuff
don't exist.
That's self-sustaining from the Premier League's value. That's you get eyeballs, you get people watching, you get TV deals, that money gets split between the clubs. That's fair. And that's what makes the Premier League so good, because the bottom teams have so much money. Like Nottingham Forest spent more than the Serie A, like the other transfer.
So you've got Ipswich, you've got newly promoted sides coming up, spending 20, 25 million on players. Like that was unheard of a few years ago. Like it is changing.
And that's what I'm saying about the Premier League. You know, that's what I'm saying about the Premier League. It's they've marketed this league at such a high rate that's worth billions now. You know, you've got teams like Ipswich can afford to spend more than, you know, teams in good team, like they could afford to spend more in AC Milan. I mean,
of course they can.
You know, and that's the difference now. The Premier League has evaluated things so highly; they have marketed their franchise so highly, and it's in the billions. But they won't let certain teams spend money, but they can fund their project to the highest level.
Yeah,
with no answer.
It does need to be fair. Like, look, I'm not saying that Newcastle should be allowed to spend like billions or whatever, but I don't think they would. But it doesn't seem right that you can allow a takeover to go through and then say, actually, guys, you can't really spend any money.
Yeah,
like, you might as well it's mad.
Charlie, but you're wrong. They were allowed to spend. They spent.
Yeah, no, but they're not allowed. What I mean is, Mo, is that like I'm not saying they can't spend any money, but they're being restricted by rules, which is not allowing them to spend money.
But there has to be rules.
Yeah, there does have to be rules, but they need to be changed. I'm not saying that Newcastle should be allowed, that all clubs should be allowed to free spend, but it doesn't seem right that you can be bought. You could be.
No one said otherwise. I don't think anybody said otherwise.
So it needs to be changed, doesn't it?
Sorry, Aston Villa's another example. They had to sell one of their best players in the summer. They've just got in the Champ League, had to sell one of their best players to pass this PSR nonsense.
But they bought a whole bunch of talent. Like they spent.
Yeah, no, they are, but they still should have to sell their best player, while the team that finished in 8th can just go and spend 200 million on players like the Lit. That's what we're saying. It's not fair.
Newcastle they didn't have to sell anyone. Like they weren't. There wasn't a gun to their head.
Douglas,
the pressure to sell comes from the fans saying that we need to win the league.
But why are they being punished for not selling him? They're being punished if they don't sell him.
Yeah, because they fall foul of the PSR rules. If you don't sell, and then you might get a points deduction or whatever. So teams are forced to sell players they probably don't want to sell.
They can't grow.
The rules, yeah.
Chelsea sold like half of their youth academy and a hotel to themselves. Like there's ways to. You're not forced to sell a certain player. You know, people were talking about how Newcastle have to sell Guimaraes. That didn't happen. You know, they were worried about Newcastle. That didn't happen. They spend money. Arsenal, we made a profit this transfer window, and we're trying to go for the league. Like all we needed was to spend some money, and we didn't do that. So I don't know. I think it's just you need to be able to pay for it later. If you go crazy, then you need to not have a period of not spending. And I don't have any issues with any clubs. Like I just want it to be fair competition, and it's going to be impossible because you've got small clubs that just if you give them $1 billion to spend. And then they've got no runway after that, then they could go bankrupt, and then you're losing clubs and people aren't happy the other way. So there has to be some balance.
I think with a team like Aston Villa, because I believe the Villa owner is Egyptian and very, very wealthy.
African,
yeah, they're very, very wealthy. And the thing is, Villa are ambitious. The owner's ambitious. He wants to do things. And when you're told that you have to raise this much money before the first of the month, or you're going to get a ban or restrictions put onto you, the only object you've got, the only thing you can do to get money that quickly is sell your best player. That's the problem, because your best player
got there by spending money. They spent a shitload of money on players.
But that's the way you got to grow. Like the thing is, though, if Liverpool finished 8th, Man United finished 8th, if Chelsea finished 8th, Man City finished 8th, if Arsenal finished 8th, the problem is all them teams can then go and spend as much money as they like anyway. And that's why that's why Everton fans, Villa fans, all these sort of fans are upset and annoyed by the Premier League right now, because they're trying to grow and compete. And once they start to grow, it looks like you've put a stop on it, sell your best player, start again. Yeah.
The rules are in place to not allow anyone to really break into the top four. And like that's why you're never going to see, and that's why you won't see another Leicester City story. That's why, like, it's so.
But even in the case of Everton spent a shitload of money. They brought 𝐒𝐲 𝐂𝐿 and they fucked up.
They were reckless, though, weren't they? They spent money, yeah.
And people don't want any penalty for that. They want it to just be like, oh, well, let them spend more money.
There should be penalties for reckless spending. Of course, there should be. Now, I don't think anyone's saying it should be like a lawless free for all, but there's got to be, some sort of adaptation to the situation. I don't think it's fair how you've essentially got a closed competition at the top because of the rules.
Yeah,
PSR. No one knows, because the Premier League spawned itself out of nowhere and said that we're going to be worth billions of dollars and try and make it like fair for everyone. It's going to be impossible. So I don't know. Hopefully we can just stop talking about court cases and start talking about overhead kicks and stuff like that. But
at the end of the day, PSR and FFP it benefits the big teams.
Yeah, of course it does.
As a big team, as a fan of a big team, I probably don't care about the little team. Do you know? I don't give a shit about Everton. I hope they get bankrupt and go down, never become a football club ever again. Do you know what I mean? That's if that happens to Man United, I'd love it. But I look after myself. But the Premier League, I've got a duty of care to look after everybody. And in my opinion, the Premier League only looks after the big teams.
Yeah, and to be clear, we're not saying Villa and Newcastle should be able to spend $2 billion on Mbappe and all the rest of it. Nobody's saying that. It is purely and City are challenging how fair it is. And the rules were brought in after Newcastle got owned and all that sort of stuff to make them basically not invest what they wanted to make them a champ. They got into the Champions League and basically were told, well, hang on a minute, we can't have this. We're not in the Champions League. We should be in there because we're one of the red lot. And that's what happens. They push them out. Villa.
Can I ask a question? Sorry, Tony, since you're here. A lot of people complain about the way City built their club, plastic, whatever. All right. Do you think if City? Let me give you an example. If City, for example, wanted to hire Mancini back in whatever, when did you hire Mancini? 2011,
10 or 11, yeah, around 11, like right? 10.
If City wanted to hire Mancini and they didn't have the money and the finances to hire Mancini, and they had to pay half his wages, right, through someone else. Let's assume that this is what happened.
Allegedly,
right?
Yes.
Allegedly. Let's assume this is what happened. And hear me out, people in the chat, before you get riled up, right? Hear me out. Because this is what people complain about. People are mad that you were allowed to hire Mancini at that time because you have the money through your owners, but other clubs are not allowed to because they don't have your money. So people like Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United complain that you didn't have the growth to actually hire Mancini. Your club was not as big to hire Mancini at that time. So you went around in the rules and you hired Mancini through whatever offshore. That's actually what City are accused of. And in other things as well, paying agents and stuff like that. Do you think they are fair in that accusation that if that is what happened, do you think you're allowed to do that? Because let me just give you the reason why I'm asking this question, and now it's linked to what you said about Newcastle. If Newcastle are allowed to spend everything, Newcastle can just go and hire the best manager, get the best players around in the world, spend all the money, build the best stadium because their owners can, right? Do you think that is fair? Do you think and I'm going to give you an example. You won 3 Premier Leagues and you won a triple. Imagine if Newcastle came and said, well, Haaland, we're going to offer you 200 million and we're going to offer you triple the salary that Man City are paying you because we can and we have more money than Man City. Do you think that's fair to you then?
Well, if it's in the rules, look, I wouldn't want it to happen, but if the new rules, whatever they are decided as, you're talking open book. You're just saying, again, you're going back to spending whatever you like, and I'm not saying that. I'm going by there should be rules. all for that. I'm just saying the rules aren't fair. And if the rules are fair and Newcastle can spend 200 million on Haaland and triple his wages, and it's within the rules, then so be it. Much the same as if we go and buy Salah
You
or
think
someone
that's
who
fair? You really think that's fair?
But why not if it's in the rules? If
Because nobody, Tony, because nobody can compete. Because no one has as much money as the Saudis.
But you don't know what the rules are, Mo. Neither do I. We're saying that if the rules are in place and they've agreed them and Newcastle can do it, then that's fine. I'd see no problem with that. None
But
at
that's
all.
why the rules should not allow this.
No, City have challenged the rules. We're not bothered about competition. Competition's fine as long as it's within the rules.
And it's fair. If Newcastle...
Exactly. That's the word, fair.
Yes. But it's not fair now.
Is it fair? Do you think it's fair?
But no. But the thing is, no business is ever fair. So what you want is, hang on, Mo. You want the MLS where we have a cap here and a cap there, and no one gets relegated, no one this, and we're all happy, Larry. That's what you want. That's why no one watches it. That's why no one watches it.
I didn't get what you said.
That's why no one watches the A-League in Australia.
Hey,
that's why the stadiums in Australia are
empty. Poorly managed for many other reasons.
No, because when you put rules in to be fair, where everyone's nicey and they're all singing off the same hymn sheet, it's boring. No one watches it.
Okay, this is a different
by the way,
I haven't heard this.
Have you just seen the breaking news?
No, but it is.
Tiki Beglerstar, whatever his name, he's leaving City at the end of the season.
Yeah, we knew that already.
Tiki's on the run, eh?
Interesting. No, he's playing.
Here we go. Cheeky's on the run.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Interesting. But I don't think you'll find rules that everyone's happy with, because you've got clubs which have owners which have $10 million worth, and you've got clubs that have owners that have $10 trillion. And
yeah, but you're never going to get them all happy, because you've got to get a 14 majority. So there's always going to be at least 6 that might be unhappy. It's just the way it is, isn't it? You're never going to please every club. Every club's going to be looking out for themselves.
I liken it to Formula One, because Formula One, they put a set amount of R&D that every team can do, regardless of if they can spend a lot more. They're restricted to like 120 million or something they can spend on making better cars. And that makes it kind of like within a fun sort of spectrum, because someone can go nuts and just make a crazy car that no one can beat, and makes the most boring sport ever, where it's just like a procession of one guy winning every race.
Can I ask Martin a question? In 1998 and 2000, when Arsenal and United were competing for the title, did you feel sorry for Liverpool?
Sorry for Liverpool? I was kind of disappointed Liverpool wasn't like taking it to Man United more, because I was just
all right, well, did you feel sorry for Coventry?
Sorry for it? No. I mean, I like a lot of teams from afar, but like I feel sorry for them. No, I don't know. For what? For their position? Do better.
No, my point is, you're only saying this, in my opinion, now because you're in the position of where you're challenging. You're there. You're okay.
It's nothing to do with
what about my whole point is, and I've said this to more 1,000 times, the Premier League has never been this competitive league.
No.
Never has been. I don't know where we've got this. Come by, let's make it all competitive. Not. It's never been. United were a dominant team for 7 out of 11.
Let me get the super chats first, because I don't get this point. Let me get the super chats. 𝐔𝐬𝐞 saying the Premier League was found to have abused its dominant position. This should alarm everyone in the Premier League. Independent regulation is needed. Masters out now. Okay, so this is, I don't understand this 𝐔𝐬𝐞, but I think what is going on again is just the Premier League is abusing the dominant position. So the Man City want an independent regulators to actually assess the deals. Is that what I'm understanding, people? Is that what is going on?
Yeah, I think so, by the sound of it. But the Premier League don't want a regulator in, though, because if a regulator comes into the Premier League, they go ask to see the books.
City did, by the way. City did want an independent regulator.
That's why they don't want it.
The Premier League, I used to think, was like a big, conglomerate, massive organization, but it's literally just a board of people that sit. The rest of it's the ownerships is actually the clubs, right? Like,
by the way, I think he's
represented by the clubs.
Hold on, I think Erik ten Hag is sacked.
I don't think he is he?
I think he's sacked.
He went on holiday.
He's on holiday at the moment.
Football journalist, Manchester United, someone called Ross, just tweeted 17 minutes ago that he's sacked.
Yeah, but Sky said about 10 minutes ago that about 20 minutes ago that no decision's been made.
Guys in the chat, can someone tell us, please? Because they are confusing. But he's not. I don't think he's sacked yet.
No, there's not. I don't think there's anything's come out yet.
All right. Okay.
Well, if he's squatting in the building, maybe they took advantage of him being on holiday to like actually get his stuff out of there.
Adrian is saying, Man City fan, Arsenal loan is not 0%, and the 200 million was over a 5-year period. The loan from shareholders was also agreed on by City in 2019.
Wasn't included in the PSR regulations.
That's right. Yeah.
But Everton have 400 million debt in this situation. Don't you think it's interesting that they're going to have a problem with that?
They already have a problem.
I think a lot of teams are going to have a problem now. I think Brighton might have a problem when you look at what they've been doing.
Yeah.
When you actually delve into stuff, I think there's a lot of teams that are going to be in a bit of bother.
Yeah, I think what you're going to see in the next couple of years is that no one's going to be buying anyone.
And what you'll see, by the way, because this is why City have always said, there's another argument. How can you keep pulling up debt, and still go and spend?
Well, that's Man United, ain't it? They ain't got like 600 million pound debt. Yeah, and they just keep spending. They're spending more than their debt. How's that
Spurs
possible?
have $1 billion in debt for their stadium too, right? Like a lot of clubs operate in debt.
How's that possible? Spend more on your debt? That's mad.
By the way, have we talked about the?
Isn't it? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Have we talked about the email?
Not yet.
Newcastle. That was quite
let me do the super chat.
disgusting.
Let me do the super chats and then we can talk about the email. Hybrid Ultra, he bangs on about misinfo with City, but does the same with Arsenal. Hypocrite. Loans are not interest free. We pay 1 to 2.75 was about the, I don't know what the BOE base rate at the time. Okay, the interest rate at that time. The conversion from outside lenders to owners. I got my information from the time.
I got my information off Sky and TalkSport. It was Sky and TalkSport who said there was zero interest. So
that is time. The time said, and then someone said no.
Yeah, said there was zero interest.
That's what they said.
That's what it's been. That's what the media in the U. See, this is what I mean. Well, this is what I love. When anything's on City media-wise, they believe it. When the media say anything against that's not on their narratives, we've got to ignore the media. So which one is it?
But you just said you believe TalkSport. Like I don't know. Like I think
no, Martin. What I said was that's where I don't know about the act because I'm not an Arsenal fan. I don't delve into it as much. I admit that. But that's what has been reported by the UK media, that there were zero interest loans.
Yes.
And they weren't being included in the PSR.
Yeah, it was on
some
Sky
clubs, I think, with zero interest, but maybe not Arsenal.
No, Arsenal were one of them clubs. I can send you the articles, Martin.
Yeah, but I think that the media is trying to frame this as like an Arsenal versus Man City in the courts thing, and I think that the actual information gets lost in the battle. I don't really know why the clubs shouldn't be regulating themselves. It's like the prisoners are the security guards, you know.
Anyway, this is going towards a different direction than what I. But anyway, you need to talk about the emails as well. Appreciate you, Hybrid Auto, for the super chat. Dial Square says, our loans are not interest free. No need for lies. Again, guys, I'm gonna say that again. You can send me the article that says they're not interest free. I am getting my information from the freaking newspaper, the Times, same ones. And that's the whole.
See, so Mo, you've read the exact same things, but I get super chat saying them.
No, hold on. let me. Hybrid, my man. I don't. That is what was written in front of me.
Everywhere.
I don't pick and choose. I don't pick and people think I pick and choose. I don't.
When you're not a fan of a certain club, you only read the information that's available to you.
Someone shares on Twitter, I just read it. Someone send me an article, I read it. And it's the Times.
Everyone
That's
tells
me
me Mo's an Arsenal fan.
choosing.
Everyone says Mo's an Arsenal fan to me. He says, he supports Arsenal.
He does twerk for
him.
He does love a bit of Arsenal.
He does.
Come on, let's get to the email. Let's get to the
He's
juicy
grinning,
part.
like, come on.
Let's get to the point where the Premier League have made themselves look really bad.
Let me do the next ones as well. Nilot Pal is saying Premier League referees should know that the organization that pays their salary have been shamed by City. Just want them to know. I don't know what that means, Nilot Pal, but fine. What? Premier League referees should know that the organization that pay their salaries have been shamed by City. Oh, it's a joke. So they should give calls against Manchester City. All right.
Referees. Oh, okay.
That referees now. You're going. That's never gonna happen, guys. Let's get to 300 likes, almost at 200 likes. An owner who invests or one who wants dividends. Someone answer? Is someone gonna answer?
Oh, invest.
No, you want the
I
owner.
don't think the owner just wants dividends. I think owners want to win. I think that they try as best they can. I don't think Liverpool's owners just want to finish fourth. I think that's
as long as the money's coming in, they're generating money.
Yeah.
Then
I don't think
Liverpool.
there is like
if we wanted to win, if Liverpool wanted to win, they would have gone and got the midfielder that we needed this summer.
They tried. The midfielder
but
just
you can't then come out and say he's the only midfielder available and you were well football. You know,
the only midfielder in the world is crazy, to be honest.
Yeah, it's look, being a Liverpool fan, I know
your owners don't want to win the league. They don't see the value, like the dollar signs. You know,
no, I'm going to tell you.
I'm
going to tell you what it is. If winning the league means that instead of making 50, they make 10, or instead of making 10, they lose 20, they would choose. Who cares? We're going to just stay as we are. Does that make sense, Martin?
I think you'd have to look at the actual return on investment. Like, if is it worth spending 200 million to make 500 million in winning?
Yeah, but who says it does?
The company, whoever does the spreadsheet will tell you.
So they said it does. So they said it doesn't. They said it doesn't.
I disagree. I think Liverpool want to win. I think they've done a very good job building a team, but not necessarily buying their way there.
Let me do the next one. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, can I just say on Liverpool, and look, all credit to them, and I know they'll throw the balance book out, but let's not pretend they didn't spend money. They
always spend money.
They may well get money in.
But no one spends enough money.
But let's
wants to spend more money.
Yeah, and that's fine. But world record for a centre back at the time, world record for a keeper at the time. They spent 80 million or something on bloody Darwin Nunez. I mean, for Christ's sake, Jota 40 million, Diaz 50 million.
I don't know who that player is. I don't know who that player is.
But it's not a dig.
Jamie's disowned him.
yeah, that's fair play. But McAllister and all these other ones. Look, you may well not have spent what other teams have done in that, but there is this narrative with Liverpool that they haven't spent. They have.
I get you. I agree. We do spend money. What I mean by it, though, is that we could go that little extra more over the top to make sure we win.
You were about to drop 110 million on Caicedo.
Yeah,
like, you know, the money's there to spend,
and then we bought Endo for 14 million.
Yeah,
but it's like Spurs fans complain about Levy, but Levy spent more money than they've given to Arteta in the same period of time.
A lot of money. Spurs spent about 400 million. It's ridiculous.
They spend enough money to compete. I think that's the difference. They spend enough money to compete, because if you're in the Champions League every year as a top club, the money you're going to generate is huge. So if you can win something on top of that, it's an extra bonus. In my opinion, that's how they look at it. If you want to really compete, you go and get the extra. You go the extra mile.
Spending extra money guarantees success.
If you buy the right player,
Man United and Chelsea to a degree at the moment are proof you can't just go out and go, I'll spend $1 billion.
Right player,
yeah.
It has to be.
So that is 100% wrong then, because Man United spend a lot of money.
Yeah, it helps. Of course.
A lot of money.
You have to spend it in the right way. Spending money doesn't equal success. Otherwise, the team what spends the most every year will just win everything. It don't work like that. You got to have the right infrastructure. You got to have the right manager. You got to have the right squad. You got to make it all gel together. The money's a big part of it, of course it is, but it's not the defining success factor.
Yeah, people get gassed as well, don't they? I mean, they went and spent 40 million on a Dutch Harry Maguire. You know, it's their problem. If you go waste money, waste it. But yeah.
Let me, Jay here, a Newcastle fan, went to court to get takeover 2-year delay. Newcastle went to court to get the takeover 2-year delay. There was a delay in the takeover. I'm going to tell you something, okay? There are a lot of people, and I'm not going to mention names because they are journalists and I listen to them and I respect their opinion. But they literally were against the Saudis because of being Saudi people. And it was allowed to be said on the radio, right? And on podcasts that we don't want these owners because basically they torture journalists. They have the rights of this, the rights of this. They are not open enough. They are not free enough. Literally, by the way, literally it was said. And I can
that was one of the reasons.
If anyone, so this is my point. If anyone wants me to point you to the actual podcasts, I can, right? And they are big podcasts, and the people write for big newspaper, right? They were literally said sports washing. They want to come into our sport because they want to improve their image and they want to infiltrate the community, and a lot of stuff that was said like that. You want to tell me that these people, some of them are not connected to the Premier League and they aren't doing that to avoid Newcastle. For some reason, the Newcastle takeover was forced. They didn't want it to happen. They didn't want it to happen. So you want to tell me that they're not going to discriminate against the people in the Gulf? They will. I know they will.
Do you not think that Mohammed bin Salman is not a very good person to invite into your house? Like, the Premier League has made itself a very profitable, beautiful, competitive market, and then you're basically opening the door to someone who has a very dodgy history in a lot of ways, like not Saudi people. Just
I'm not gonna go through that for one reason, because if I go through this, Martin, you don't know my opinion about the capitalists and the people that work in America and how they crush people and how it is not separate, because I don't know Mohammed bin Salman. I disagree with a lot of Mohammed bin Salman does for Saudi Arabia. Okay, now we're going political, and by the way, this is my channel and I don't mind. Right? I disagree with some of the things he does. Yeah. But I also disagree with some of the moral things that happen in the Western world from America as well. I disagree with them. And why they are better than him? Why do we and maybe not you, but why some people portray that this American owner is better than Mohammed Salman because they are American, or this British owner is better than that guy?
They just may not have the same baggage, you know, the same level of public baggage that MBS has developed for himself because of the way he came.
Because it's covered. You don't know what is happening. You think I'm gonna give you? I'm gonna be as guys. I'm gonna be as frank as I can be right here today, right? You think if Mohammed bin Salman has something against human rights for whatever reason, it's better than someone who crushes competitions in America because they're allowed to for the law, and crushes someone's business, small business, and that person commits suicide because they cannot provide for their family. Do you think that person is better than Mohammed bin Salman, for example? Whatever you take it, whatever you want.
I didn't say. I said that person. I mean, there could be bad people in Thailand and Bangladesh and every
Thank you so much.
But
that is the reality.
It's nothing to do with Saudi. It's MBS Martin, specifically.
We don't live in a fair world. People need to understand this, right? It's not because you do it through the law, not because you do it within the law in America. It's morally all right.
Even just in a sporting landscape, look at what they did with golf. They took golf and they said, "Hey, we're coming in. Screw you guys who were here before. We're setting up a completely new competition. We're buying all your players." I think that there's specific sporting things where it's like dangerous to invite someone that's such a big player, and he's like a huge fish, and we're a tiny pond in his world. So we're like a plaything, and I think that that's dangerous with a sport that everyone like values so much.
It is dangerous. That is why I actually believe it is dangerous. I don't disagree with you. That's why I believe in fair competition. There has to be laws to have fair competition. People should not be allowed to do. For example, Chelsea spending that much money for me is unfair to other clubs.
But it's in the rules, though. So
but that is the problem. That is the thing, Charlie. The rules should be written better. And by the way, Man City winning this case, guys, and winning that part of the APT proves that sometimes the rules are illegal and they need to be written the better way. That is the thing, Charlie. the word within the rules, the people that put the rules, right? Sometimes they put them the wrong way. That provides
because they were
unfair
rushed.
competition.
No, they were rushed through.
That is the
They
thing.
were rushed through. No, they were rushed through. That email proves it. You look at that email, and if you listen to that chief exec, and we can all guess who it is and whatever, look at the language that was used in that email.
What did they say in the
It's
email?
utterly,
I haven't seen the email.
it talks about Gulf investment and everything else, and we've got to get these rules done in the next 5 days. You can't rush rules in 4 or 5 days. You can't do that.
The Premier League's half-assed. Like I don't understand how an organization.
No, Martin. I'm going to be honest with you now. You're coming across as a bit of a. That's one side's okay, one's not.
I don't know which
you need
side
to look at your main
okay.
sponsors. You need to look at your main sponsors. Who's your main sponsor at Arsenal?
Emirates Airline.
What part of the world are they from?
I'd say UAE, wasn't it?
Right. So do you not want them in?
What's that?
Do you not want them?
They're sponsors. It's got really nothing to do with me. I don't get.
They're your main sponsor. They're the main capital of your money.
There's nothing wrong with an airline company sponsoring us. I believe that Emirates.
I'm not following what is going on here.
I'm not
wait.
I have a theory.
It don't matter, man. I'll be honest with you.
I have a theory about this. Wait.
I'll be straight with you. No, and it's not you per se. It's not you per se. I think within the Premier League, there's xenophobia and racism.
Okay, I know I'm always trying to get to that point, but also I think that Emirates Airline is a function of Man City going to these clubs and saying, "Here is some money. We will give you money as sponsors, so you leave us alone." Because there's no reason for UAE to really sponsor all these clubs. Like Emirates Airline sponsors a hell of a bunch of clubs. I think it's like a peace offering. It's like, here, we'll pay you too, so that you can let us spend whatever we want in the Premier League, or like back off with the court cases or whatever. I think it's a way of like soft control through money, through these sponsorship deals.
Let me. I want to do the super chats because I need to finish them. Because there are some interesting points. If they can do all this high mighty bollocks, when we had to sell our best players for a decade to the likes of City and Chelsea, nobody cared about fairness, and that is a fair point in fair competitions. This is what people understand. My opinion. I don't say that what City did is fair. Because Arsenal, to build the stadium, had to sell their players. City didn't, even though Arsenal has bigger fan base and they should have had more income. Okay, that's, by the way, and no one can convince me otherwise, right? No one can convince me otherwise. Like, why did Arsenal have to sell their best players and they couldn't afford their best players? There has to be a rule to prevent that, to be fair. That's all I want. Fair competition. That's it. And I know that this Tony and Martin, they won that, but the problem is the laws are not written this way. That is the thing. That is the thing. Like, why, for example, City were denied a sponsorship deal. That is why they're suing the Man City, the Premier League.
Yeah.
And it was not that high, by the way. If you look at the number, it wasn't like magnificent sponsorship deal, and they were denied. There is echo coming from somebody. I don't know from who, but.
And the Premier League also broke their own rules. We had to wait 3 months when it should have been done in 10 days and other things, and on this airing as well. The Premier League broke their own rules on different things.
Let me. Francis here is saying you cannot be in UEFA competition with interest-free loans. Stop this gaslighting. It's dumb. There is no article on the Times, Mo. I'm not a Chelsea fan, Francis.
Nah, Mo, you're one of us.
I am not a Chelsea fan. And also the one that brought it to is an Arsenal fan, is Rory, yesterday on the show. By the way, Francis. It's not me. I didn't bring up the article. It was Rory bringing it up, by the way. So thank you so much. But that is what happened.
Mo, sorry, just before we do, I've got to go. I just wanted to say thanks for having me on. Good to be on with you, lads.
Appreciate you.
Take care.
Appreciate you.
Cheers, lads.
Thank you, Tony.
Appreciate
you, Tony.
Right.
Where is the 5 people overlay now? I'm in the middle now. All right, JJ, big up JJ Habibi. Mo, how do we contrast the decision in favor of City versus FFP? Tomorrow we'll hear of Riyadh dry cleaners have 200 million sponsorship deal for the Toons. And JJ, that is not what anyone wants to happen. That is the thing. I am against that, and everyone is against this. And if no one is against that, it's a big deal. So JJ, you are right. We do want Newcastle to influx billions and billions of pounds, and now can overspend everyone else. You're right here, and I think everyone agrees with that. I don't know why are people thinking that I want that to happen. It will ruin competition.
Celebrating that we had rules knocked down. I think we're celebrating our own doom. That's what it feels like. If that's
I think people need to realize that City don't want to have unlimited influx into the club, or Newcastle or Chelsea. No one wants that. They just need better laws about them. That's it. That the Premier League cannot.
No, what we're saying is, we want to be able to be sponsored by Etihad at fair market value. We want to be able to have. The thing is, people have misunderstood all of this. We're not saying go and sponsor corner flags for 800 million. What we're saying is, we should be allowed to go and use our own business interests, our own links. Chelsea can do theirs, Newcastle can do theirs, Liverpool can do theirs, Arsenal can go and get sponsors, whoever the Cronkies know or whoever. That should be allowed at a fair market value. But the fair market value should be transparent to everybody. Shouldn't be a hidden rule. Shouldn't be hidden away that only the Premier League chief exec knows about.
See,
this is all we're ever saying. Transparency. This is all we're asking for. Transparency and legal. City will go and get. I can tell you now, City will get deals now. With Abu Dhabi Bank, Etihad. They will not be at 800, 900 billion like everyone's believing they're going to be.
See, guys, it's very simple, by the way. It's very, very simple.
If Martin starts a business and his brother-in-law is a billionaire and runs another business, he wants to be able to go to his brother-in-law and go, "Hi, can you invest in me?" Yes. What's the fair market value? Right.
Who decides the fair market value?
Well, it's Neilman's sport at the moment.
Okay, but who should decide? What's our ideal world?
It should be an independent regulator. That has nothing to do with the Premier League.
I don't think
it should be though, shouldn't it?
Yeah, it should be external.
Okay.
It used to be
before I do the rest of the super chats. Okay, big up JJ. To explain this difference between Arsenal and City, I'm gonna do the rest of the guys' super chats now, but we're gonna respond to each. To explain the difference between Arsenal and the City situation. City is a state-owned, and sponsors are Abu Dhabi owned too. Abu Dhabi is the smaller version of KSA. Emirates are not connected to the Cronkies. Okay, so JJ, okay, Ash, but that is the thing. As long as it's fair market value, it should be allowed. Yeah. Am I wrong here? Am I missing something?
No. As long as it's, that's all I'm saying. As long as it's fair, crack on.
JJ, as long as it's fair market value, it should be allowed.
No, I think that was at me. I think that was at me when I said about the Emirates.
Yeah, I know. So what do people want? No Abu Dhabi, okay, let me ask Martin a straight question. Arsenal, you don't want Man City to be sponsored anything related to Emirates, to be fair.
I don't care if they want to be sponsored by themselves. That's fine. I actually
stop saying yourself. Stop. So saying
if
yourself.
you wanted to put Man City
is not
and pay yourself,
no, but hold on, Martin.
As long as the funds are equal for people's sponsorships deals, roughly, then that's all I think you can ask, right?
By the way, I'm just gonna clarify something. Emirates, right? It's all royal family. So let's just establish that. Martin, I'm sorry to go against you here, but the reality is Saudi Arabia are all royal family. Emirates are royal family.
No, right. So but that was that again, Mo.
Or Fly
Emirates. Mo, that was part of the APT.
They're cousins, basically. They're all together. Let's just
I understand that. I'm not saying they're not, but this thing of Etihad is Manchester City is a load of garbage. It's not. They are separate companies. Was proved at CAS.
Technically maybe, but how much do you pay yourself?
Yes, but the money is connected to each other, basically.
Everyone, if you're a multi-billionaire or a trillionaire, all your money's connected all over the place, really.
They're not multi, they're
That's
one
how
family.
you've got that level.
It's just a family, Martin. It's a family thing. It's a family.
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, we had a shirt sponsor last season, right? Infinite Athlete, which no one had heard of, was what Bowley and that have got very close links to, and that went through. It was 40 million. I think it was 40 million for the season, or slightly less than a season.
I think that whale fin sponsor you had too is also
we had whale fin on the sleeve. We've got Bing X now, who sponsor the training kit, and I think and they're the sleeve sponsor now. Like, I mean, I don't know if Chelsea got links to them, but like in terms of the Infinite Athlete, that was very much a company that we had very close links to the ownership, and that was ratified by the Premier League, and that was clearly a fair market value. So as long as it's fair, why should it matter if there's links to the company or not? Like, it shouldn't make a difference.
It shouldn't.
I have no problem with that.
I don't think it should.
And what I do miss is like good sponsors. It used to be like your club. It was like a sign of like how big you were, and that you could get a certain sponsor.
No, we didn't even have one.
Counter that with one thing. Everyone cares only about City sponsors, but no one cares about the dodgy sponsors that other clubs do. They're not winning.
Liverpool was sponsored by Standard Chartered, so
I was about to say, don't get Jamie going in that one.
Yeah.
Let's not start the Standard Chartered debate, shall we?
Exactly. So
let's not open that kind of worms.
Yeah.
Let me do the rest of the super chats.
But no one cares about City.
No, because you're winning.
No one cares about us.
I don't know. People in the comments say I'm crying. I don't think I'm crying about anything. I'm just.
No, it's me.
It's saying.
No, they're saying Arsenal Martin.
We read that one. We read that one. What the hell is this guy saying? Liverpool made profit this window. 110 million transfers. Speak when you know.
Yeah, we're not talking about this window. Liverpool spend money just in general. It's not specifically this summer.
Yeah, but if we've made profit and we've not bought anyone, we bought one player for 10 million quid. So making profit's good. Yeah, but if you're not spending money, I'm making profit. Do you know what I mean?
No, but okay, isn't it interesting that breaking even is actually good business? Like, if you sold 6 youth players and spent $100 million, like, you're kind of like, you're providing for yourself, you're providing for your future, you're bringing players in of value, like you're creating value for the market. If everyone got to spend whatever they want, it doesn't increase the quality of players anywhere. It's not like we all get better team. The money doesn't make players.
Do you want a wage cap? Do you want a spending cap and a wage cap, Martin?
Yeah, I wonder.
No,
I think
absolutely
there's a proposed 5 times the value of the bottom club.
Will make the competition better, but across Europe.
No, that's on top. That's on top of the 105, by the way. That's an addition, Martin. That's not.
Can I do the 2 super chats left or 3? Have we responded to this one?
Yeah, we've done that.
Yes. Okay, Mo, I have followed you for a while, and come on, state facts, please. AFC annual records show interest on loan. UEFA has similar rule on APT that includes loans. I am shocked by the Twitter spin. Okay, I'm gonna go and Francis. I'm gonna go and read again. I want you to send me the whatever thing. That what was written yesterday is that one of the bases of Man City's defense is that Arsenal were allowed and other clubs were allowed to get shareholders loans with lower interest rate than the market because they are related, and that is not fair market value, Francis. And Rory, if you watch the National League yesterday, if you watch that the National League yesterday, Rory explained it as well, Francis, and he's an Arsenal fan and he reads a lot about Arsenal. I am a lawyer and I'm a partner at a law firm. Big up to you. It took me and my colleagues 5 hours reading judgment to wonder why City fans are celebrating on Twitter. Okay, Francis, and that is the confusing bit. It's very confusing because City celebrated. The Premier League said City didn't win, and then City sent letters to the 19 clubs telling them that the Premier League are cheaters and liars, and it's not good.
There's a massive war. Listen, I'll tell you straight, and I know this. City in the Premier League is unrepairable. That relationship is unrepairable. Very unrepairable. Very good. The City's viewpoint is you can't keep hitting the tiger in the face, and the tiger don't bite back at some point.
All I'll say is you guys celebrated a draw at the Etihad, so you celebrated a draw in the courts. It's fine.
But we didn't draw though. We won the points we went in for. But you gonna believe the racist Premier League.
Yeah, but City didn't go in to win all, like to change every
exactly.
They went in. We
went in to win what we wanted to win.
Yeah, this is what people don't understand. Like the whole point was they weren't challenging every single point in the rules. There were like 2 or 3 points in the rules which they were challenging, and they won on those, and they won on the points that they wanted to win on. They weren't trying to overturn every single part of it.
Didn't they get like 23 knocked back out of their 25 complaints?
No, I think there was 25 in total, and like they challenged 2 points, I think, and they were successful on the 2 points that they wanted to challenge, or something like that.
No, they were knocked back on the others, and they were only successful.
Let me. The last
we didn't put
Gregory.
25 cases in, Martin.
How many?
I can't believe we put in 3. The 3 was the main challenges from Lord Panic, which is what we won on, the legality parts, and we won on them. That's why City is celebrating.
Okay. Gregory's saying, do you really believe that when billionaires meet, they care about color? It's all about the money, people.
Then why use the wording in the emails then? This is my point. I would like to think they don't care, but why use wording like Gulf investment and things like that in emails? It doesn't. Sorry. I would like to think in a perfect world it's not like that, but I don't think it is. Don't think we live in a perfect world. Sorry.
Have you guys got any solutions? Like what? You can't really expect the Premier League.
I have the perfect solution for this.
Okay.
What the UEFA president actually suggested: a wage cap across all Europe, depending on spending, depending on revenue and stuff like that. That will make it a fair competition. The reason why this is the best way to go is that you will get some money. You can spend that much money only, and it has nothing to do with your revenue. That is the thing. And he said a wage cap. So you can go. Here's an example. You can go as Arsenal and say, I'm going to get Mbappe and I give him 80% of my wage cap. And then the rest will go to other players, right? Or you can say, I'm going to divide it by equal players. I'm going to build my team differently. I'm not going to have one superstar. That will be the best thing. And actually, what Chelsea have done is something similar to this. Is that Chelsea said, we're going to buy loads of players, but we aren't going to give one of them that much money. So we're going to have this broad salary thing, like the range, and everyone is going to get paid similar. So they built the club like this now. They don't have like that one guy that gets paid 500 and one that gets paid 50.
No, it's all incentivized now. It's lower base salary, and then obviously we do well, then your pay goes up in accordance. Yeah, look. I mean,
that's the UEFA president said.
There's a problem with it. Miss Bunny in the comments said, "Do that, and all the best players will piss off to Saudi."
Yeah, but here's the thing. It will never. This will never happen unless Saudi builds, right? Saudi builds a better league and a better competition. Because remember, in Europe, when you play in Europe, you play Champions League. You're getting better broadcasted. And people need to understand. Sorry, Charlie, I'm going to call you and I'm going to let it come back to you again. I'm sorry.
All good.
Apologies. What people need to understand is that players should be part of this wage cap. The problem that happened to football was really apparent in COVID. When players at Arsenal did not want to lower their wages and Arsenal had to fire people that work in the club. So these guys, the millionaires, players, get paid the same wages. Even players need to understand that they are entertainers. You get paid as much money as you bring, right? You aren't entitled. And that has been my take. Since I knew that Arsenal had to fire a mascot because his wages, you got to understand. You need to understand that you're part of this. The players are part of this. That's a
bit slanderous. I will say Willian terminated his contract and walked away from $10 million.
I'm giving an example because that was the example
I'll clear that up.
Okay,
and Gunnosaurus, Gunnosaurus didn't have a lot to do during COVID. I will admit there was not a lot of call for a guy in a dinosaur suit.
And also, people need to understand that the players, there was no people going to the stadiums. Yeah. You are an entertainer, right? But no one is coming to the freaking stage because of regulations. You have to understand that you have to make less now. That is part of the world. But the players said, "Oh, we are bound by contracts. We want to get paid." Okay, the players have to be part of this.
But if we put in a wage cap and a transfer cap, guaranteed players will go to another league that's going to pay them 10 times more.
No, but that's across Europe.
But the wage cap in Europe would still be the highest in England because of the amount of revenue in England.
Go ahead, Charlie. Sorry. Go ahead, Charlie.
Oh, I can't remember what I was saying.
You were talking about the way your club is built, and
no. Look, it's like I think potentially the only downside to it is that you might struggle to attract the top players in their prime because they're probably not going to accept being paid less, even though there's still the potential to earn as much as they might have been earning previously or what they want to earn, but it's obviously going to be incentivized based. It depends on them doing well. It depends on the team doing well. That's really the only downside to it. From a business perspective, it makes a lot of sense. And I also think it potentially avoids any issues in the dressing room, because if you've got someone on huge money that's underperforming and you've got other guys who are stepping up and doing the business on a lot less money, then rightfully you're going to look at it and you think, well, hang on a second, why is this guy, why is this guy being paid so much more than me and he's not contributing anything? Whereas if everyone's on a similar amount of money, I think you probably avoid those issues. So look, whilst it's disappointing at times that you feel like you can't compete to get the best players because you're not prepared to offer the money, or that's not the route you're going down, I think in the long term, it's a far more sustainable way of operating as a football club. And it's definitely a massive change for Chelsea, because we've, under Roman, just offered, in essence, whatever players want. And then when they've been crap, we've not been able to get rid of them. So at least now you're in a situation where we can sort of move players on because they're not going to be on a ridiculous amount of money. Yeah, the Sterling situation is slightly different because that was sort of before we brought in our wage structure, and that's going to be quite tricky to get rid of him because of the wages that he's on. But in general, I think this way of operating now is going to be is a good way of going. And look, Chelsea took a lot of stick for these long contracts and signing young players and whatnot. What are clubs doing now? Investing in youth, in younger players, and offering them long-term contracts. Everything that we were doing, that we were getting hammered for, is now being praised. Now other clubs are doing it, are being praised for it.
Can I add something to the people? I don't know. Someone is texting me. We are got to go, Martin. Oh, okay. We have no power. All right, we're gonna try to end the show.
I'm only saying my whole street's on a power cut and my freezer's now just dying. I've got no food anymore. It's dying. It's dying at death at the moment.
That sounds bad.
I'm just gonna say one thing. David Ornstein just tweeted this. Oh my God, Man City director is leaving. Guys, the guy is plus 60 and he's planned this step down for a while. So it's not like David Ornstein literally.
Yeah, it was something we knew about 6 months ago.
It's a long planned step down, age 60 plus. Like he wants to leave.
I can tell you the three names they're looking at: Aston Villa's chief exec, Brighton's one, and Pep's brother.
They already have agreed. He said already believed to agree. But anyway, let me do this.
And Pep Guardiola's going to sign a new 2-year deal.
That is another story. I have said it before. My solution is to let fans own their clubs. Can we have this panel vote on it right now? Own the club like Germany, like 50, like Germany.
The 50+1.
50+1, yeah, like Germany, yes.
Yeah. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing.
I think it's a great idea.
I don't know how it works, but I genuinely
the way everyone's going.
I actually believe that the problem with the Premier League is the discrepancy between the way of running clubs between owners, between investment funds and people that work in corporate, and Arab owners and Asian owners and Egyptian owners. It's just different. People need to understand this. It's just different. And if the fans are going to make all of them equal, yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
I don't know if it's good for like the actual trajectory of the club, because maybe it's hard to like have a good future if your fans are deciding the future of the club. Like maybe they're not the best custodians, but I think it's good to like have your customers connected to them.
Yeah.
The thing with owned clubs like that is that if you look at Bayern Munich till recently, Bayern Munich used to poach the best manager and the best players from their opposition teams. There was nothing the other teams could do about it.
Every year as well.
Because they were the wealthiest, biggest team in Germany. Till recently with Leverkusen coming along. But, yeah, like I don't know if that's the right way to go either, to be fair.
I don't know enough about it, Marco.
No, I don't either. But I wouldn't be against it.
Yeah, big up Mo. Great guy. I can send you the PPT on this. Please do. But you have to understand, I'm just a fan of football. You are a lawyer. Please send me that. My email is on my channel. My Twitter is there. My Instagram. My DMs are open. Anybody can DM me. So please do. My email is there. So you can just email me, Francis. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate all the information as long as it's readable and I understand it. Mo, it was 110 million, not 110 million. I need a refund. That was regarding the other Premier League referees. No, that was regarding the other super chat that you sent, Nilot Pan. Why Liverpool more profit, 110 million. 110 million transfer. They had 110 million transfer in Nilot Pan. Oh, the 𝐒𝐤𝐬𝐿 one. I got it.
Didn't they also bought Mamardashvili? I know he's not come yet. I don't know if they've paid that money, but they did sign him as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what you said is right. Listen, people. Let's get the likes up, guys, before we go. Man Kunyanwe is in the description. Charlie's channel is in the description. Jamie Phillips' channel in the description. Of course, Charlie, what you got coming up? You got anything coming up?
Oh, what is it? International break. There's not, to be honest, there's not that much coming up at the moment. But obviously next week, obviously we've got Liverpool, so big game. Looking ahead to that one. Lots of stuff going on there. So yeah, I'm about 50 subscribers away from 12K. So yeah, any help would be greatly appreciated.
100%. Jamie, you got anything coming up?
Yeah, I'm going to be talking about Trent later on tonight on my channel. So yeah.
All right, brilliant.
Is it going to be an emotional goodbye speech?
It might be. He might be.
Are you going to do a Salah on Trent one?
Yeah. You worried that Jude's in his ear now at England? Giving him
I think when Trent has a shower, Jude's out there with the towel. I think he's that bad.
Guys, I am less than 20 subscribers away from 26,000. So
26K.
If you can subscribe, I would really appreciate that, and hit that like button before you go. We're very close to 300 likes. You can literally hit that like button.
Guys, come on.
Mancuni Martin, what do you got coming up?
26,000th subscriber or something? Is there like a signed
we're doing a big show tonight, talking about the APT, where we'll talk about it all. Pep's new deal, obviously Cheeky leaving and his replacement. Yeah. City keep boiling, you know what? And we enjoy it.
Guys, hit that like button, people, before you go. Appreciate everyone that is here. All the channels are in the description. I am back live at 9:30 UK time. We'll see you guys soon. We're out of here, people.